Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to UQSPIA's Cultural Night 2018, Child of the Pacific, Find Your Mana. Before we begin, in this facility there are a few housekeeping rules. To my right, the exits just over there, the women's bathrooms are just outside, and if you turn right, they're right there. And for the male restrooms, they're just out this exit on my left, and turn left, and the male restrooms are just over there. Thank you. In the case of an emergency, please make your way through the exits at the back of the cinema and follow the ushers to the emergency assembly point. This is a non-smoking facility, and food and beverages are not to be consumed in this theatre. Thank you. There's also food for sale, and if you haven't collected your food at the intermission, in the middle of the show, you can go out the doors and straight to the ticket booths, and you can collect your food from there. Thank you so much. I'd like to invite one of our members, Sai, to lead us all in prayer. Thank you.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's having a good night. I'd just like to ask all of you to just close your eyes and bow your heads. Dear Lord, we'd like to thank you first of all for each and every person here today. We'd like to thank you for all of our family and friends who are here to witness this moment with us. We'd also like to ask you, we'd also like to thank you for each performer here today who has put in the hard work and the time and effort to make this event happen. We'd like to ask of you just to be there with us as we share the beauties of our cultures with every single person here today. And we hope that everyone here goes home with a great experience and awesome memories. I'd like to say all of this in your precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Sai. I'd now like to invite Marwa to welcome us to country.
Hello, my name is Marwa. I'm a part of the Wurdi speaking people from Central Queensland. I, as of Thursday, am one of the co-officers for the Indigenous Student Collective group, Rumba. This evening, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Turrbal on this side of the river, and the Yagara, Yagarapul, and Jagera people on the south side of the river, and acknowledge that while no treaty exists, their sovereignty has never ceded. I also want to acknowledge the spirit of their ancestors and their old people and their warriors who fought from the time of first contact and still are continuing to fight for the rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait people today. I also want to say to the traditional owners, Nienta, Nante Naninaya means you are welcome on my country, and thank them for allowing us all a safe passage here this evening, and hopefully we can carry that good spirit with us and take that home as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Marwa. Ladies and gentlemen, that now concludes our formalities. I'd now like to ask you if you could switch your phones off or to silent. That would be much appreciated. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Once again, welcome to Child of the Pacific, Find Your Mana. Our islands were born out of the fire of the earth. This same fire burns in our hearts. Our land is alive, old and powerful. Follow the beats of the tribal drums, my child. and learn the stories of your ancestors and the natural world. These legends are old, and over time, the mana within them became stronger. Our voices and the influence of storytelling are the way in which we immerse ourselves in this mana. Join us on this journey to recall the stories of the ancestors and find your mana.
Michael?
who travelled to Samoa, Savaii, singing as they went, tattoo the women and not the men. When they arrived at Tuvaluan in Samoa, one of them looked down to the bottom of the sea and saw there a clam shell. So she dived into the water to retrieve it, as it was said to be enchanted. When she was again seated with the other women in their canoe, she asked, "How does our song go?" Her companion answered, "Tattoo the men and not the women." These women went on to Tuvalu and Tuvalu, claiming that they had skills to offer to them, but not receiving the welcome they desired. So they went on to Safata, to the house of Chief Su'a. And so the woman spoke, "Friend, we have here a skill that we have brought with us." Su'a answered, "Thank you." Then the people of Safata brought the women. The women answered, "Thank you." Then the women said, "This is the box, and in it are all the tattoo hammers." They instructed them to tattoo men and not the women because they couldn't remember their own song. The myths, legends, and customs of Old Samoa provides a fascinating insight to a culture rich in history and spirituality. For generations, their stories have been memorized and retold through oral tradition, which is very alive today. Our song and dance illustrate this. So please welcome Samoa.
popular legend of Ati and the Momoke, the people from the underworld. Ati was a humble planter who lived in a village which is now Aotearoa. One day, when he went to his plantation, he discovered some of his crops were missing. He hid in the bushes nearby and waited. After many nights waiting, he was convinced that his threats to the other villagers had scared off the thief. However, this one night, the moon was full and he heard the sound of rippling water. He followed the sound and saw that a pool of water near his plantation was glowing. Suddenly, human figures began to emerge from the pool. These figures looked like him, however they had white skin. He called them Momoke. He watched as these people helped themselves to his crops, and when they had had enough, they climbed back into the pool. Curious, Ati followed them, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not hold his breath long enough, eventually giving up. He then planned on how he would capture the Momokes next time. When the next full moon came, Ati again lay in the bushes nearer to the pool and watched the Momoke raid his plantation. While they were busy, he threw a net over the pool and tried to capture them. However, all managed to escape but one, a woman. He decided to make her his wife. As time went by, she became accustomed to living in Ati's world, eventually bearing him a son. They were very happy together. One day when Ati came home, he found her crying. She asked him if they could go and visit her parents as she wanted to show them their child. So that night they prepared and went to the pool. They took deep breaths and attempted to dive while Ati held the child. Ati could not hold his breath and had to come up again for air. He tried again and again unsuccessfully, though his wife had not emerged again to assist him. Eventually, he gave up and sat by the pool with their son, mourning, knowing she was never to return to the surface again. He named his son Ative, which means separation, and sealed off the pool. Even to this day, you will still find the pool in Aotearoa if you ask the elders of its whereabouts. Just like this legend, the Cook Island drum beats and strumming of the ukulele holds powerful mana. Tonight, our performers will be dancing to Kua Kimi Tiare Maori, a song that speaks of the tiare Maori flower and how it is picked only in the evenings, just as the sun goes down, for this is when the flower opens. The tiare is also used as a metaphor in Polynesian poetry to describe beauty and a loved one. Please welcome our Cook Island maidens.
In the province of Malaita lived a husband and wife. As time progressed, the wife had a baby. This baby, however, was a little bit different. It was a snake. So she took care of the baby in secret, hiding it from everyone. One day, her husband grew suspicious of her and tricked her into thinking he had gone to fish, but he had actually hidden the house while she was working in the garden. While the wife was gone, the husband found the snake, and fearing it was dangerous, he cut it into 8 pieces and threw it into the river. When the wife returned, she explained to her husband that the snake had in fact been their baby and was distraught, but it was already too late. Out of sorrow, the snake joined together again in the river and swam along it. Through the West Are Are region, there is now a river shaped like a snake, and to this day, sleeping snakes are taboo for the people of this region. Good fala evening, loyu fala everyone. Throughout the Solomon Islands, each of our island provinces has their own unique culture and traditions. On our outskirts are our Polynesian islands, the northwest, our Micronesian communities, and in between are our Melanesian islands. In the longest of these islands, Santa Isabel, the Sale Olo is a dance you will see and hear at most gatherings. Some are solemn chants that tell old stories through matching movements, and some are simply to celebrate. Tonight is a time to enjoy. So we, UQSPIA, will be performing a happy Sale Olo, Tangyo Tomas and Tangyo Faraba. Please welcome our dancers from the Solomon Islands.
your tickets, your food tickets and your wristbands. You guys should have been getting your raffle tickets. So, yeah, that's a free raffle. But before I say the raffle announcement, how's everyone's night so far? That's a really bad cheer. How has your night been so far? How was the food? Okay. Very manaya, right? Very manaya. Before I say the raffle announcement, we're going to have a little exercise here. So when I say lopati, it means 2 claps. Okay, lopati, bati, batia, lopati. Okay, let's do this. Lopati, lopati, hey hey, hey hey, hey hey. Okay, so the raffle prizes for today, we have 1 UQSPIA hoodie shirt. That's our first prize. Our second and third prize is a UQSPIA shirt, 1 navy and 1 white. And then our fourth prize is a lucky dog prize. So yeah, so that one's a mystery. But hold on to your green tickets. Your green tickets. So we'll be announcing the raffle winner when we're nearing the end. But make sure you hold on to your green tickets so that you guys can still win a prize today. It's free. Everyone likes free things, right? Yeah. Lopati, 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 total foul. Okay, let's do that again. Lopati, 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 tiger. Oh, thank you, thank you. Keep on to your green tickets for your raffles. The next legend of the Pacific originates from the small nation of Tuvalu. The second least populated country in the world, Tuvalu is home to 11,000 people and is a place of community, family and tradition. The Tuvaluan lifestyle is a rare gem and hard to come across. One of the main islands of Tuvalu, Nuku is said to have received its name because only one fedau tree was found there when it was discovered. Hence, Nuku the island of the fedau. The discoverers of Nuku'whitau settled on the western side of the island in a place called Whale. And as time passed, 4 men worthy of the title Aliki, or chief, arose from the people. These chiefs, in hopes of protecting Nuku'whitau from raiders, divided the people into 3 clans and migrated to 3 different regions of the island. Fialau became chief of Lafanga, the biggest of the eastern islets. Tawasa ruled over Motulalo, one of the northern islets, and the region of Whale was led by Langitupu and Laupapa. These chiefs guarded their regions for many years until they decided to congregate again in Whale, following the arrival of the missionaries. The people of Nuku'whitau, now united, chose to settle on the islet of Saavave, located in the middle of the 3 originally inhabited islets, Whale, Lafanga and Motulalo. Here they thrived and continued their duty to protect Nuku'whitau. Tonight, we have 2 items for Tuvalu. Neatala o Te Matangi tells the story of fishermen heading out into the ocean before sunrise, searching for the right spot for a catch. The second song, Saavave Tau Aso Ko Meilonga, complements the Tuvaluan way of life and their respect for their identity, especially the people of Saavave who have grown a bond to their land. Please welcome our dancers from Tuvalu.
Give Hello everyone, good evening. I hope you're all enjoying your night. My name is Kiribati Sidhu. I'm the academic coordinator for UQSPIA. We have an event coming up in about 13 days. It's called Inspire. We may have given you some of the flyers outside. But basically, that event is a high school student summit where we invite Pacific Islanders and Maori students to UQ, and we put on a whole day of events. So basically the schedule of the day is we invite the students around 9-10 o'clock. We get them registered, so we make sure that those that have signed up actually come on the day. After that, we take them into our big lecture theatre like this, and we get industry speakers to talk to them on the industry speakers' journey through university, any adversities they've faced as a Pacific Islander or Maori, transitioning from high school to university and to working in industry. After that, we basically feed everyone, so it's a free feed as well. The whole event is free, and we have to fundraise for it as a result. So if you guys would like to help, we are selling a lot of donuts. Approach any of the SPIA members, or myself included, and we'll be able to point you in the right direction towards that. After the free feed, we go on to doing faculty workshops. So we organise those workshops entirely, and we've got a page of about 60 UQSPIA and other specific associations volunteers. And we all get together and we run workshops based on faculties that students might be interested in, such as Bell, such as engineering, EAIT, such as science. And after that, we basically send them home. that's what the whole event basically entails. Through the process of promoting it, we were fortunate enough to get a lot of support from UQSPIA as well as other Pacific associations, and we made a promo video. That promo video we're about to air right now. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you.
Are endless, with university a pathway available for you. Open the door of opportunities and embark on a journey where you can believe anything is possible. Where you are encouraged to learn, grow, and achieve. Explore the notion.
Long ago, there was Nareao, the spider. He was a god, but a god who could do human things and was floating in space, all alone, sleeping. While he was floating, he dreamt that somebody called his name. Nareao, why do you lie like that, doing nothing? Nareao was surprised to hear somebody call his name. He opened his eyes to look around. He saw nothing but emptiness. But when he looked down, he saw a sealed object floating below him. It was the Bo Metameki. He was curious about it, and so he descended and stood on it and looked at it carefully. He thought of opening it to see what it was inside. He crouched down and tried to split the Bo Metameki with his tail while chanting. He repeated the same process 3 times. As a result, a crack appeared and he forced it open with his tail, the barb. After he had pulled out his tail, there remained a hole on the Bo Metameki. He put his right hand into the hole and felt sand. He picked it up. Then he put his left hand and felt water. Having looked at these, he took sand and water and combined them to form Nasibu, stone. He put Nasibu back into the hole and said, "Lie with Nate their care, emptiness, and bear Nareao the Kikitea, Nareao the wise." From the union with Nasibu, Nate their care became pregnant and gave birth to Nareao the wise, in accordance with the instructions of Nareao the creator. Nareao the creator was on the Bo Metameki with Nareao the wise. Now they could talk to each other. As time passed, Nareao the wise asked Nareao the creator, "What can I do inside here? It is too low and I cannot move about." In reply, Nareao the creator said, "Ah, you are right. you had better lift it up a little. Then Nareao the Creator left to Nareao the Wise the responsibility for completing the task of creation. When Nareao the Wise had lifted up the upper portion of the Bo Metameki a little higher, he was aware of himself and his surroundings. When he looked around, he saw stiff bodies lying beneath the cover he had raised. They were spirits, just as he was. The first task which Nareao the Wise had to do was to raise the cover even higher. So, he went to the stiff bodies lying inside and broke parts of them to make them flexible so that they could move. He also noticed that these spirits had life in them and named them according to their essence. There were many spirits, and among them were the spirits of time, age, dimension, energy, wind, and light. After lifting the top of the Bo Metameki a little more, Nareao the Wise commanded all the spirits to work together and cooperate to lift it higher, thus separating the sky and the earth. Nareao the Wise then slew his father Nesipu, the stone, and took one eye and threw it to the eastern skies, creating the sun, and took the other eye and threw it to the western skies, creating the moon, and they were tasked to keep the earth alight. He then took his father's ribs and threw them up into the midst of the sky. They shattered into many tiny pieces and created the stars. Kamna Benani Meli. Tonight, we are treated to a traditional Kiribati song and dance with a combined performance by the Manokan Kiribati Association and the Kiribati Australia Association, along with the friends from UQSPIA. Come on our journey of storytelling as we explore the age-old tale of an ancient love and discover how the sand, or Mother Earth, is a life source for each Kiribati people. Please welcome Kiribati.
God.
Hello. How was that? How was the Kiribati item? We now head into our 15-minute intermission. Please feel free to stretch your legs, use the restrooms, chat and mingle. There will be a 5-minute reminder before the show recommences. Thank you. Buy food. Food is available as well. If you're still hungry, buy food. Only $15. They're a great bargain. They're at the ticket booth. $15 for one supper. Great bargain. Okay? Feed your stomachs and come back in 15 minutes. Thank you.